Hey Phil, hey everyone. Hey Joe. If you guys are here live, hashtag live. If you're here for the replay, hashtag replay. Or type 909 in the comments. Something random. I'm here with Steven Larsen. Usually his interviews, we only have like 30 minutes, so I'm gonna try to breeze through my questions.
Yeah.
Um, Hey Steve, a lot of people already know who you are, and I'm in an affiliate marketing group, so
Cool.
obviously they know who you are. But some people might not. So I'm really glad to have you here. I want the few people in my group who don't know you to know who you are. Can you give us like a very quick origin story, like few sentences
Yeah,
rundown?
totally. When we first got married, my wife and I, we didn't have anything, and I spent 3 or 4 years trying to start businesses. None of them worked. They're pretty much all failures. I think I was around failure number 11 when I finally ran into dot-com secrets, Russell Brunson and Clickfunnels. And as soon as I got that, I was in the middle of college, and my clients started getting success. And I ended up working for Russell personally, sitting next to him and being his funnel builder. And I was already building before I got with him there. Obviously, got a lot better next to him though. And ever since, I worked there about 2 years, and then I left. And honestly, it was with affiliate marketing. That was where my first dollar online came from. So, yeah,
All right. So
yeah,
that was actually my first question.
sure,
What's your first success with making money online? Like your first dollar, like
yeah.
the first
The first time
online
ever
income.
was so it was affiliate marketing, and it was actually in college. I remember the class I was most excited to take was a class called internet marketing, and I was like, this is the one I was so excited about the whole time. I was like, this is going to be amazing. And I go and I get in and I sit down in the room, and the guy's like, how do you define SEO? Anyone know? Anyone know? And I was like, like, oh my gosh, like I had been doing this stuff, with minute success here and there for other people, but I hadn't made a dollar of my own yet.
Yeah.
And I drew a funnel. I didn't know that's what it was. And I stood up after the class and I showed him, and I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I want to do this instead. And I grabbed the other kid, looked like he was bored out of his mind. And we were given permission to have our own class for the rest of the semester. And so we had 3 hours a day to just make as much money as we physically could online, which was awesome. So we would just get together every day and just, anyway, we turned to affiliate marketing, and we didn't have much money at that time. And so I went and I spent $50 on ads, and we basically built a bridge page, and I grabbed a product off of ClickBank and redirected it over to, once people bought, over to my affiliate link for that ClickBank product. It was a social media thing about how to be like a social media manager, and spent $50 in ads, and I was scared to death. Oh my gosh. And we went and spent, I think, 4 or 5 hours just writing the copy, like just a headline, a subheadline, and a button. And we found a video that was already created on YouTube. And that was our squeeze page. And we spent $50 on ads. And I went to bed that night, just freaked out. Woke back up, and there was over $50 back in the account. People had bought, and there was now 17 people on the list. And all these like false beliefs that I didn't know were there just started falling. You know what I mean? Like the scales from my eyes kind of thing just started dropping. And I was like, this is awesome. And I just got at it. So yeah, that's how it started.
Awesome. So $50. I can kind of relate. I can relate to that, but I teach students, and they tell me like when they say when I'm like saying something like, oh yeah, spend a couple $100 on Chrome. I teach Chrome extensions, like Chrome extensions, and then you have the ability to now sell it wherever. But that first few bucks to spend, I underestimate sometimes how scary and life changing that
Yeah.
is for
Oh yeah.
someone who is so steady paycheck every single month. So it's like you kind of underestimate that when you're like going at it like that.
Oh, seriously. Yeah. It was hard at first. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Guys, if you have any questions, I'll pick a random question from you guys. A lot of people are just jumping in. Hey Nick, hey everyone. Hey Tom. Okay, too many people. My next question is, what are your goals for the next 1 or 2 years? I watched some of your videos, so I kind of know, but I want the
Yeah.
other people to know.
So I left ClickFunnels. I thought it'd be cool to theme it And so I was like, follow me, while I go and start my first $1 million business. And we did that, and we passed it, which is awesome. So the themes kind of like follow me to the next 4, which is my goal for this year. But what's crazy is like, I don't know. I feel like in the last 2, 3, what month is it? It's April. Yeah,
It's April
it was probably
the
about 6
9th.
months ago. I was like, I think I know what I want to actually do. And so I've become the offer guy. I geek out hard on offer creation. But really the end goal for me is I want to start buying companies. And we have an idea for a sweet show that I haven't really announced. We're going to go head to head with Shark Tank and try and get it on Netflix. But I think with it, we've got it. And so anyways, I'm excited. It'll be cool. So we're starting to put all this stuff together. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No one does.
You guys know now. You guys in my audience.
Little soft drops here and there, but so many people ask me to build funnels. I might as well grab some equity in their company, because it takes more than just like, let's just build a page. There's a lot of research that goes into it. So figure I might make a show out of it.
Oh my gosh, that's so smart. You know what's crazy about Shark Tank that I found really smart, but I think they stopped doing it? Every single person who interviews does get that airtime. So they have the people who just interview sign over 2% of their company. I think that was a while ago. I don't know if they're doing it now, but I'm like, oh, that's freaking brilliant. So like, whether or not they make it, they become the next Facebook or whatever, just because they interviewed and got airtime with you, you have like 2% equity of their company. So
it's crazy. It's kind of the vision. So I don't think it'll happen this year. There's a lot to put together for something like that. But having fun until then.
Cool. Ruben says he loves your podcast. Let's ask one question from the audience. Hey Ben, is there anything wrong with just wanting to earn an affiliate income from affiliate marketing and not wanting to coach, build your own product, start a conference, etc.? So he's saying, is there anything wrong with just wanting to earn affiliate income just by itself?
I think that whoever's asking that already knows the answer, and they just want me to validate it. Heck yeah. Why not? You don't have to become an icon on the internet. You know what I mean? You really don't. And I don't, for a long time, I didn't want to. I mean, it wasn't until I sat next to Russell and I watched how he was doing it that I was like, I could do that. Until then though, I was doing exactly what you guys are all talking about. I was just doing affiliate marketing. I started publishing and then writing affiliate links on the back of it. That was one of the easiest ways. It still is for me to make affiliate cash.
Yeah.
I would do it though.
When you go to conferences or when you meet people, I feel like, to address Ben's question for me, I feel like I don't feel like I can do it until I get out there and I actually start doing small steps. And my small steps expose me to people talking to me and meeting me. And they're like, you have the magic, or like, I'm going to see you on stage next year. They start telling you that they believe in you. And then that gives you the confidence to step into that role. Like, no one thinks that, I don't think like someone just starting off will be like, I'm going to be the next speaker like immediately. But what I found is that people kind of like build you up, and then you comfortably step into it. That's I don't know.
Piece
that's my
by
opinion.
piece for sure.
Yeah. So I think people who meet you, Steve or Steven, would they probably tell that to you, even when you were like not going on stage, they probably told you, hey, you got it. Whatever it is, you got it. I don't know. But
sometimes.
Sometimes. All right. What excites you most about creating your own live event? What excites you most? Because you have OfferMind.
Yeah, I remember. So it actually started when I was, building funnels next to Russell, like this far away from him, back to back. And I would listen to him coach all those people, and he was saying the same thing over and over again. And I was like, dude, you're saying the same thing over and over again. He goes, I know, isn't that nuts? I said, it is nuts. I said, and we came up with the idea to have something be in between him and his people so that he could take them from, here to here rather than from all the way on the bottom, all the way to the top, and it actually really. So anyways, I went through 12 years of his content and I organized it. Like, in order to know this, you have to know that. In order to do this, you first have to do that. And it took me about 6 months. Yeah. And, as one of the patterns I noticed a lot of the big guys doing is that when they have a new piece of content or new course, a lot of times they'll test it at a live event. And so he threw a live event and we grabbed his inner circle. And for 3 days, he taught the material that I had gone through and kind of organized. And it validated what I had done, but it also validated to me that like, wow, actually, that was really cool. And what was fascinating is I started taking over that event. I begged to do that event. It was called the Funnel Hackathon event. And I started doing it for him and in his place, and it was a ton of fun. And I started getting better and better and better. And I remember one day specifically getting off a stage during a break, and I went back into my desk, which is also his office there. And I sat down, and he's like, "How you doing?" You know, because it takes a lot out of you to be on stage. And I was just kind of like relaxing for a second, like, "Oh, holy cow!" You know, I had tons of fun, and you know, I feel really alive on stage. Anyway, and he goes, "How's it going?" I said, "Good, but there's like this weird thing happening, man. I'm standing up and I'm speaking, I'm hearing, I'm looking, and I'm noticing. I can kind of tell who's gonna make it and who's not." And he was like, he looked up and he goes, "You're already there, huh?" I said, "Yeah, is that a thing?" And he goes, "Yes." And he goes, "What is it? Why do you think, what's the thing you're looking at?" And I said, "I can tell somebody's going to make it based on if they're just the self-solver. You know, they don't have to know all the answers. They just act and self-solve. They just, you know, they don't look for the perfect answer. They look for a good enough answer, and then they roll forward." And he goes, "That's fascinating." I said, "Well, what is it for you?" And he goes, "I can tell," he told me, he's like, "I can tell someone who's going to make it when they are focused on marketing and not on just cash and the next lifestyle they have, when they're actually focused on marketing itself." I said, "Yeah, that makes sense." And he goes, "What do you like about being on stage?" And I said, "The thing I like most about it is that I can stand there and I can see in people's eyes when something just clicked. And it is the biggest drug on this planet." And I like this. I look at him like, yes, like that person got it. That person understands what I was just saying. That person's picking it up. And then I can kind of watch what they're doing after the event, you know, for a while. And it will literally change their behaviors more than they could change on their own. And that's why I love it so much. And so following that same pattern, I realized I was teaching a ton of stuff that kind of filled the holes of what a lot of people in the funnel world are doing. And I was like, well, let's test it. And so I went and created that first event explicitly to test my material.
Yeah.
And why it was free. I'll never have a free event again. But it was for that reason. It's testing material, get it all out in one shot. That's why I did it.
Yeah. Wow. I feel like on a smaller scale, you know, because I teach online, I don't have a live event. On a very small scale, the people entering my class who just start taking action and care about their product and care about the marketing, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's like night and day difference versus someone who goes in and they tell me, "Oh, but I have to do this, and I don't have that," and you know, they're like giving me a bunch of lists of things, and I'm like, okay, and then the other students, they just run as fast as they can and figure it out along the way. And to see that live is amazing. That click when it's like there in front of you. I see it on the internet, you know, they're like posting saying, "Oh yeah, Kim helped me out," and I'm like, "Oh, that sounds so awesome." But yeah, seeing it live is awesome. If you could, hey guys, thanks for tuning in. There's 38 of you guys here. Hey Dana, hey everyone. If you're here live, type 101 and then smash that heart button. The next question I have for you, if you could have 3 tips to give to make money online, what would they be? If it's 3 tips from you, everyone's different.
Yeah. Honestly, I think one of the biggest things that I struggled with for years was I would just walk around asking myself the question, you know, what should I sell? What should I sell? What should I sell? And it was like this thing I would beat myself up with, you know, especially after like 12 tries in a row where nothing really happened over 3 or 4 years. It got rough. And I don't think I was addicted to failure, but I think there was parts of me that was getting addicted to not success. You know what I mean? It was like these half successes. Really interesting. First of all, I would say the biggest tip for making money online: be prepared to have character flaws explode in your face, and they're going to make you feel like crap. And there's all these models that have to do with the cash, and it frankly is a model now. It's not that hard to actually make money on the internet. The thing is that it's when people go to execute the model, they've got all these things that pop up in them. I can't speak. I don't know how to do this. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. There's no one who's going to follow me. I'm not attractive enough. I'm not this. It's whatever. And we start telling ourselves all these things. And funny enough, I coach the One Funnel Away Challenge. I'm a 2 Comma Club coach. I coach a ton of people on my own. And the biggest thing people fight is not, does this model work or can it work for me? It's, I'm not good enough. It's all these internal false beliefs. And so funny enough, to trump all models, I'd say, to trump anything else, I'd say the number one thing is if you can recognize the character flaw, if you can recognize the false belief in yourself that's been keeping you back and you've been holding as a banner, that is the fastest way for you to progress. Because once you identify it, now you can do something about it. I remember in college, I went to counseling. I was going to counseling for a little while. I was struggling with some stuff. And I went to counseling, and this guy, I was there with my wife, and he's like, Steven, have you ever been tested for ADHD? And just the question alone was so offensive to me. I was like, dude, back off. Nothing's wrong with me. I didn't want to feel disqualified from my goals. Don't tell me I'm not perfect. Don't tell me something's wrong with me. I mean, it really shows a lot of the crap I was dealing with mentally at the time for the way I reacted. And he made me go take this test, and I brought it back a week later, and I'm sitting across from him. I hand him the test, and I was pissed. I mean, I was in a bad mood. I was like, don't you dare. And I think he could sense that. I mean, I was spitting fire. My eyes were going nuts on the guy. And he walked back in the room, and he goes, Steven, you don't have ADHD, but you have a lot of symptoms of it. And I was like, isn't that how you tell when you have something? Like, it's a symptom. Anyway, I was like, what is wrong with you? And it became this banner that I started holding up. And I was like, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm broken. I'm disqualified from my vision. And it started becoming this complex, and other things started becoming this complex. I can't talk. I can't speak. For a while in high school, I was 35% body fat. I mean, I was a way overweight kid. I got kicked out of college. I mean, I am the least likely success story. And that's the thing I want people to know is, like, anything that you got going on in your life, realize that you have been gifted those things because they end up being your superpower, but they cannot become your superpower until you address them. And I know it's like, it's kind of my big thing now. Like, the models to make cash are actually not that hard. You just got to learn them and execute them. The thing that's rough is this mental thing. So I know you asked for 3. That's number 1. The second I would say is that if somebody can understand, anyway, so number 1 is the obstacle is the way.
Yeah.
I keep a coin on my desk that says that. Love this coin. This coin's amazing. Obstacles the way. You lean into your constraints. They're not disqualifiers, especially online. It's the only platform where you can be yourself and have your flaws and still actually make more than if you were working for somebody else. Anyway, I'd say number 1, the obstacles away. Number 2, I'd say is that
you don't need to have 3.
What's that?
I said you don't need to have 3. That number 1 is very powerful already.
Yeah. What's number 2 will actually make a break. Yeah. Stop asking, what should I sell? If people, I tortured myself with that question. What should I sell? What should I sell? What should I sell? It is the number 1 thing that keeps people from going back besides their own character flaws. Everyone's got to start with, who do I want to sell? And then they tell you what you should sell. It's a very subtle change, but that's why my stuff's worked so well as I left.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. It wasn't until I had Dan Martell, this guy who exited 5 companies, I paid to be in a room with him. Yeah. And he was like, and I started like software ventures before and they failed. And he said, Kim, have you ever tried to find the people first and then make the product? And I'm like, no, I just make it and I throw it up there. I'm an action taker. And right, he's like, try to find people first, form something first, and then look for the product. And then I was like, wow. And he's like, that advice alone pays for this whole conference. It's 100%. True. It's 100% true. So yeah, I love what you have shared with me and my people so far. It's I can really see the passion like on when you do your YouTube videos or when you do your lives. I can see it, but it's like I can really feel it when you share straight to me. So it feels really nice. So if you had to start all over, like completely over, I know it's like 30-day question, but I do want to ask you, what would you do first, knowing everything you know now, being able to do live events, being able to, you have so many products out right now. Like, what would you do starting over?
Like completely from scratch.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of mechanics and a lot of strategies and stuff like that you can follow. I kind of think of it as football plays. Okay, which play am I going to run? I got to promote this product. Cool. Here's like the 5 really easy campaigns I know will blow that up. But if it's from scratch, I think once people realize that a lot of us understand this concept of a red ocean and a blue ocean, and affiliate marketing is not exempt to this at all. In fact, it's the reason why I've won so many affiliate competitions, and I don't consider myself a professional affiliate. The reason is because people are buying ideas, not products. So the thing an entrepreneur can often get distracted with is what should I sell? What should I sell? What should I sell? You go back and you realize who you want to sell. They tell you the products, but what you're selling is an idea, not a product. And so when you can sit back and start thinking like, that's why you can make money before the product's even done, is you're selling an idea. Now, don't bait and switch anybody, be ethical and moral with this stuff still, but you can walk out to them and you can still tell them like, look, things are not as they are. And so I did this last year by accident one time. And then when I realized that's what had happened, I've done it the second time now, and it's super cool. What I do, and this is the first place I'd start anybody, is you think about, think back to like when Al Gore created the internet,
Yeah.
And there was one internet service provider, and and then someone's like, oh my gosh, look how much cash that guy's making. And then suddenly there's another internet service provider and another ISP and another one. And the ocean gets red, right? We call it super red. You know that obviously, but for anyone who's watching, we call that a red ocean where there's tons of competition. One of the easiest ways to make a ton of money, and I think one of the first places to start, especially if you're brand new from scratch, is identifying which red ocean you're coming out of. If you don't know who you're selling to. And if you don't know, it's the reason why someone can build a product and be like, I wish I could find somebody to buy this. What you do is you find the red ocean first, and you don't build a product, you find an idea, and you become the anti-red in your messaging. When you do that, it's a lot easier. Like one of the products I sell is in the MLM space.
Yeah.
And I tell people like, look, this is how I'm growing a downline. I'm not even opening my mouth. I never do a 3-way. I've never done a hotel meeting. I've never done this, right? I've never, my friends and family don't even know I'm in an MLM, right? And I auto recruit people pretty much daily. And then I hand the same systems off. It's like that idea, I'm not teaching it all to them, but the idea is what draws them from the red ocean methods into a new blue. That's what you're looking for. That's how, in my opinion, that's the easiest way to blow it up. Because then you can suck and not be amazing at products. You don't have to be amazing at offer creation, and you'll still make a lot of money.
Yeah, I agree. Well, of course I agree. Why wouldn't I? Yeah, the great thing about your answers is that you address a lot of the mentality aspects, and I think that is what people need, even though they want money. They need that shift in mentality. The deeper I wade into this, I've gotten into this digital thing like not too long ago, 6 months ago, and then the thing I noticed the most is that people need that mental shift, and that's like embedded in almost all your answers, which I love.
Yeah.
So what would be, let's see, what's the most difficult thing to build online, however, the most worth it to you?
The most difficult, but the most worth it.
Yeah.
Publishing. Definitely. Like bar none, hands down, without even second thinking it. If somebody can learn to start publishing, I mean, we get over 1,000 downloads a day just from Sales Funnel Radio, and I only publish twice a week right now on that show. And it's like the level of how much I can influence somebody is huge. So I have like 250 episodes out or something like that, and they never leave the internet ever. My entire life, that will be one of the greatest assets that I ever have ever. I remember the first month I was so stoked to get 1,000 downloads. It was 1,100 downloads, and I was like over the moon. This is crazy. Now it's over that a day, and it's like boom, 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 boom. It's insane. And like, if I'm careful in the way I craft it, it actually becomes a greater asset to me than ads. It's insane. It's hard at first. And once you have kind of a system, you can do it on your own. You don't need a team. I didn't have a team for a long time. It is one of the most life-changing things, because not only is a business asset, nothing else has changed me faster than leaving my job. Nothing else has changed me faster than consistent publishing. I've gotten clear on my message. My tribe found me. I found my tribe. I've gotten clear on that anti-red idea on multiple levels. I don't think there's another. What's hard is that when you build a funnel or a product and then you start sending ads, you're hoping that you have the right anti-red messages. You're hoping you have the right big ideas. You don't have nowhere else to test it. And so you have to have deep pockets. So what I do is I drop out all this cool stuff on my podcast and I test reactions, and I'm looking to see how people, oh, did they like that? Did they not? Whatever that might be. And it gets really, it's funny how easy it gets when you start publishing. Yeah.
Wow. So you're saying everyone should publish, maybe? No, you're not
yes.
saying that. You're saying,
Yeah,
oh, you are. Okay.
Yeah, everyone should publish.
I can relate to your answer because at the beginning, 6 months ago, I started going live and I'm like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Hello, guys. And then later on, it's like, oh, maybe I'm going to do this. And then later on, it's like, this is what I'm going to do. And because people are really, accepting of it.
Yeah.
And then I like come closer and closer. My friend was like, I was watching you, Kim. You were just rambling about. And then you got more specific,
Yeah.
and then she's like, "What the fuck?" after that. So yeah, I strongly believe in that as well. Joe, let's take a question from the audience. Joe says, "What do you do to come up with content ideas on your podcast? Do you ever get writer's block?"
Totally. I actually have a Trello board, and it's called Future Podcast Ideas. And as I have new ideas, I just drop them on there. So I was on an airplane ride last night coming home. Was reading something cool about Adam Smith, and I was like, that would make a sweet podcast. So I took the quote, put it down, and that's one method. And you kind of learn as you go. Another method is, if you actually look at a lot of times, what I'm doing is I call it the sideways webinar. I basically write a webinar and I drip out an episode for the 4 main stories that usually consist of a webinar, but I make them episodes. And then the 5th episode is a major call to action. So like for my event, OfferMind, you'll definitely see me do that. And I've started to already, and I'm breaking the major false beliefs. And it's already happened. 2 weeks ago, I was looking at the waiting list for that event, because we're about to drop out the funnel probably next week. I was looking at the waiting list. There was 450 people on the waiting list 2 weeks ago. I looked 2 days ago, there's over 1,000. It's like 600 joined in the last 2. It's insane. And the reason is because I use the platforms I've created now to launch things on my value ladder. And so there's several methods, but those are 2 of my favorite. It's, hey, this is what I'm learning. Another one is like, hey, this is an issue I'm seeing in my business and how I'm planning to get around it. So I'll document it. And then the other is like, let's use a campaign in whatever I'm launching.
Wow. Are you finding it like easier to have people reach that magic moment or that epiphany when you do these live events? Are you finding it easier and easier for you to do that, or is it across the board every single time there's a certain percentage who will get it and a certain percentage who don't? Or
yeah, it's getting easier and easier as I get more and more clear. It's getting further. I am better at causing it, and usually I know when it's about to happen and how to set the room up and how to set up. Super fun.
That is amazing. I remember one of my first conferences, the person set up the slides in a certain way and said things in a certain way and took us back in time to certain memories of our childhood and things like that. And I was like, oh my God, this is so powerful. It's like taking someone, having the power to take someone from despair, confusion, sadness, frustration, and pull them all the way to hope within like the span of one event, or even sometimes like several minutes, So anyways.
Yeah, I've been to a few events where the content is not actually that amazing, but the way they're delivering it is impressive. And that's what I started realizing is like, I got good content if I just learn how to present it better. So, I've started working with more kind of like voice coaches and stage coaches and presenters, things like that. And just so I can deliver what I have to say better. That whole phrase, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, it kind of puts it all on the teacher, or sometimes it's on the student. Anyways, I think it's a symbiotic relationship. It's from both sides. You can't have one without the other. If I can deliver it better, it'll help them capture better. Yeah.
And I think shortening that time between them getting it is your goal as a teacher, right? Like
Totally.
to make it short, so that when you get into the room and you're like pro at it,
Yeah.
changes everywhere. That's so cool. All right, you guys. What is the proprietary nature of publishing, especially since the red ocean is? That confused me. How do you get podcasts? All right, I'm gonna ask another question of mine. Do you have any products or offers that you think can help our audience to take their next steps with you?
Yeah, definitely. Affiliate Outrage. Go to affiliateoutrage.com. It is a 30-day free program. It's completely free. There's no pitch in there. I'm not hard closing. There's nothing. But Affiliate Outrage was created because I have a love for affiliate marketing. I detest VC funding. I don't think anyone really needs it. But that being said, whenever I need to go pay for something expensive, like an event, which usually, it's like $100,000 at least for me just to put on a 2-day event, I will leverage affiliate marketing. And that becomes my seed cash to go put in, do expensive projects. Or, hey, this book writer, we're writing 3 books right now, each with a different writer. They're expensive. They're like $25,000, to get a really good writer that will help pull the book out of you. I got consistent cash flow, but when something, the strategy I use, and I never take affiliate cash as profit ever. For me, it's investment cash from my audience. That's how I look at it. And they'll go pay for more expensive projects.
Awesome.
So affiliateoutrage.com, though, that's where I teach a lot of that.
All right, you guys, I know a lot of you already know that. Marcus Campbell says, I love affiliate marketing. Yay. We will share his website with you guys. Angelica says, can you share the website from Steven? It's affiliateoutrage.com. So that's pretty easy to remember.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, who or what the heck gave you the courage to go from working for someone to like spending like $25,000, besides the cash influx, or maybe it is the cash influx from your techniques that gave you that courage to invest on that bigger level. You know how people are like, oh, $50, and then like, oh, 500, and then 20,000 a month, and then like 25,000 a person, like stuff like that. What helped you with that?
Yeah, honestly, it was a lot. I had to really, really redefine my relationship with money. And I had to realize that money is it's man-made. It's made up. It's a completely fake thing, right? It's real because we all say it's real, but money's freaking cotton.
That sounds like there is no spoon. The spoon is
It's true, though. When you think about it and you're like, so what causes cash value? All right, cool. Now, it helped me because so many people are almost afraid of money. It's like, why are we fear? It feels like a Voldemort thing. Don't say his name. It's like, what? It's like so random. We shouldn't fear cash. We should use it as a tool. And what I started realizing is I had to redefine my relationship with money. And then second of all, the biggest thing I realized was that money is faster than time. Very fascinating, right? So if I can get more done because I paid somebody. Like right now, there's only myself and another guy that are employees of my company, but there's 18 other 1099s that I hire on a monthly basis. 18, 2 full content teams, an internal funnel team. I mean, it's fast, and that's all been within the last really year. And now people ask me a different question. Steven, how are you getting so much done? Man, I took off 4 days just recently. It looks like I'm getting a ton done. It's the ghost in the machine. So when you think about it, money is faster than time, and money is a great kickstart for systems. Systems is what will free you. Marketing brings the cash, but it's nothing without systems. Otherwise, you are still a business, and I don't want to be my business. I want systems to be my business. And so, anyways, realizing some of those principles of cash and watching some of these big guys, I was on the other side when Tony Robbins was talking with Russell, Robert Kiyosaki, Marcus Lemonis, these huge guys, and they all treat it the same way. Money's a tool. And when you get it, if you want to increase your speed, use money to do that, not working harder. Very, very quickly, you realize that I cannot work more hours in the day, and I'm not going to try to. And tweaking out all these little things that are like, I get an extra hour of my day doing this, extra hour of my day doing that. I think it's a show that my systems are broken, not that I'm lazy or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
there's some very serious money principles behind it, but most people are like, I've made this money now. I'll just tell you, I'm not bragging, but like, it's because it's weird for me. We're in our 8th month in a row of over 6 figures. Bam, 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 bam. And I'm not doing much different. And so what I've had to do is to sit back and look and be like, I'm working the same amount, only 9 to 5. In fact, a lot of times I'm working a little bit less. I'm not killing myself anymore, which there's a time for hustle, but I don't want to die hustling. That's not the point. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at my systems. Something is wrong with my systems so that instead of $100,000 a month, we go to $1 million a month. And I know what it is now. And I've identified those things. So now we're building structures and building a company. I'm not the company. My job is to build the systems from both a marketing standpoint and a business system standpoint, build it, and then step away and be willing to watch it fail to test it. That's the only way I can grow and build it from now on. It's all about leverage. It's no longer about time.
And the process of identifying those things, is it from stumbling upon making mistakes? Is it
it's usually from you losing money somewhere or some weakness, or why are there so many refunds? This is a good product. Oh, I didn't set it up right. There's no pre-frame. Let me go fix that. It's people get too married to the process. They get too married to the funnel. The funnel's important, but so are the systems that support it.
Yeah, I've interviewed digital marketers who make like 8 figures, and they say I spend all my time building systems. I just build a system, leave it, go to the next person, build the system, build a bunch of systems, and then that's how
the reason why. Like, it could have been faster, but I was figuring out a lot of stuff I wanted to do in my life. It's 13 months after leaving with no funnel, no product, completely from scratch, made $1 million. And then now it's this exponential curve. It's ridiculous. That's the only reason why. It's not that I actually am working less than when I left my job, but we're making far more because of leverage.
Yeah. That's amazing. On that note, Daryl has a question. How do you protect your brand, especially since the internet is global? Like, do you even need to protect your brand? Everyone loves you.
Yeah, sorry, so that has to be my last question. I have the next interview.
Okay, yeah. That's the last question.
I honestly, I think whoever asked that, you should go read the book called Play Bigger and another book called Niche Down.
Okay.
Fantastic books. And they said something in there that I completely agree with. Actually, Ryan Holiday said the same thing in another book too. I can't remember the name of it. Branding comes second. That's what they said. And I completely wholeheartedly agree. I didn't have a logo on any product for the first 7 months that I left my job because they don't matter. I didn't have branding. It wasn't until 2 weeks ago that we launched SteveJLarsen.com, and it looks all cool and it's totally branded out. Like, branding comes second. And when we say second, meaning it's item number like 1,000, and people get too focused on it. Branding, design, none of that has anything to do with cash flow. If you can't sell it without that stuff, it's not going to sell more with it. It's just expensive stuff that'll just suck on your wallet. And so I don't try to protect my brand. What I've done is I've increased my polarity, and that has become my brand. And it's not really something that matters. It matters far less than we all wish it did.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us in my audience today. I love your answers and your insights and what you share. And hopefully the people who listened today got that, those moments of insight that will help them just move along a little bit further, because I've just seen like a huge mental difference like between successful, digital marketing entrepreneurs like you and then people just starting out. It's like so much the mental difference than anything else. So thank you so much for joining us. I know you're super busy, so bye guys. Bye everyone.
Thank you.
Bye Steven. Have a great day. Oh yeah, if you like that video, then you will love all the resources that I have over at kimcdang.com. That is KIMCDANG.com. There you will find all my courses, my extensions, all the offers that I have, as well as a lot of free resources if you are just getting started.